Nigerians, make una not share this video go where President Tinubu dey, because many people now don dey shock because of wetin this barrister just tell President Tinubu for im face for inside this video. The whole truth don finally come out. Make una just lis ten to this interview, this particular video you guys are seeing on this background, this interview wey this our barrister just grant today, where e dey react to the end of emergency rule for Rivers State. But e get wetin e come talk at the ending of this particular video, na wetin shock me myself. Make una lis ten, because this barrister make a lot of points for inside this video where e dey react to this particular update about the drama wey be like say e happen for Rivers State. And make una share the video and I'll come back to this video.
Emergency rule in Rivers State.
It's quite unfortunate. As a lawyer, I am not proud of what the Supreme Court did, because rule of law means that the court should always rise up to interpret the provisions of the Constitution to add value to our democracy. And the court, having not seized the opportunity, 90 days, 6 months is 180 days. That is the time that Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court combined. It is still more time that an election petition is decided. The appeal for an election decision is 60 days at the Court of Appeal, 60 days at the Supreme Court, and 480 days, that's 6 months, the Supreme Court could not take up a case that would have threatened the fabric of our democracy to adjudicate on it, so that future presidents, because if you give a president the power that he can remove the elected representatives of the federating unit, democracy is gone. Opposition is gone. Because once a president wants to capture a state, he will just declare a state of emergency. State of emergency is for disasters. State of emergency is for invasion, is for wars, is for anything that needs extraordinary measure to occur. It has nothing to do with elected representatives of the people. Anything that touches elected representatives of the people is a martial law, not a constitutional change. The Constitution is very clear. Section 1, subsection 2, that the Federal Republic of Nigeria or any part thereof shall not be governed by any person or any group of persons. Neither shall any such people take control of such government, except in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. And the Constitution is very clear that it is through democratic principles. Section 14, subsection 1, Nigeria is a state that should be democratic. Clear. And accordingly, sovereignty belongs to the people. So, Rivers State people, having expressed their sovereignty and chosen their elected leaders, where did this president get the power to suspend elected representatives? I agree completely with the vice president, Shetima. And the president does not have the power to suspend a councillor. So if the vice president of Tinubu would tell you president does not have power to suspend a councillor, where did the president get the power to suspend a governor? House of Assembly members. Where? The 305. Section 305 is very clear. Section 45 is very clear. Section 11 is very clear. What you can suspend is the fundamental human rights during the time of emergency. And the truth is that you're not even suspending it. You're trying to ensure it. Let me put it this way. You are a natural disaster going on, flood that will kill people. You will tell them they must not leave their house, and you enforce it. Why? You are infringing on their freedom of movement in order to save their lives. So which one is better? That is just what restriction of 305 permits the president to do. And do you know that it is the president that has the duty to secure lives and property in Nigeria? No state has power for any state police. When Tinubu was in power, Dele Alake, and I will still be saying this because I liked what he did so much that when I met him personally, I said, Dele, thank you for doing this. Dele told President Obasanjo, you cannot declare state of emergency in Lagos State because of the issue of security. Because, Mr. President, the issue of security is your duty, not the duty of Lagos State. So how can Tinubu declare state of emergency and remove elected representatives in Rivers State based on issue of security when that is his own duty? When he has the sole command of all the security forces. Okay, now let me ask. When Tinubu took over the government of Rivers State for 6 months, how many of the criminals that vandalized pipelines were arrested? How many? A military man went there with all the military boots on ground. They could not arrest one person. But they blamed Fubara, that Fubara was, according to the Attorney General, he has blown the whistle to his followers that will blow pipelines. Where are the pipelines blown? Where are the people that blew it? Hoax, propaganda, deceit, enchantment, bewitchment, nothing else. No justification whatsoever to even declare state of emergency. Then even if you declare state of emergency, no constitutional power to remove elected representatives. And he did both. If you ask me, I'll say in my own opinion, they were targeting the resources of Rivers State. And the mere fact that the sole administrator is even saying he cannot be probed by Rivers people is another affront to the sovereignty of the Rivers people to choose their elected representative. You came in, took their resources, and you're saying they can't ask you a question. What an insult. So there is no justification whatsoever to even declare state of emergency. The only thing I know that was happening in Rivers State is that there was a disagreement between the governor and his godfather, which manifested in disagreement between him and the House of Assembly members. And after the Supreme Court judgment, all of them said they were going to obey the Supreme Court judgment. So what else? I would have just ended it. So, my dear, there's no justification. For me, the Supreme Court would have taken up the issue. They would have heard it. They would have made definite pronouncement, which is still not late. Because they can still, it's about interpreting the Constitution. They can still go ahead to interpret the Constitution. Let us know whether they have chosen democracy or they have chosen dictatorship. Because any law that gives the president the power to remove elected representatives of the people brings democracy to an end. Because whether you bring your leaders through free and fair election, the president now has the final say of who will be governor or who will be House of Assembly member. That's what it means if you say the president has power to remove elected representatives of the federating units. For me, it does not. I agree with Shetima.
So can Fubara himself go to court to challenge his removal?
I will not talk about whether he can go to court or not. I will talk about the rule of law. Fubara is entitled to his own way of how he wants his own things to be done. So, Fubara, in my own opinion, his 6 months has been illegally taken away from him. And I say he has the right to go to court to reclaim his 6 months. That's my own opinion. Because Section 180, subsection 2, made it clear that the term of office of a governor is 4 years. And the Supreme Court has ruled that it's sacrosanct. That is why we have staggered elections. So if a governor is sworn in today, he would have 4 years to govern. So whether the general election is there or not, you will give him 4 years. If you take 6 months from Fubara, he now has 3 years, 6 months. And it was not his fault. At least nobody has proved that he has done anything. He has not waged war against the Federal Republic. There was no invasion of the Federal Republic. There was no war in Rivers State. So if the 6 months was taken away from him, the Constitution says anytime it is not conducive to organize the election because of state of emergency, you shift the election by 6 months. That's what the Constitution says. So if Tinubu say it is not convenient for Fubara to govern for 6 months because of state of emergency, what it means is that you have shifted his administration by 6 months. That's my opinion. So I am not saying he should go to court or not. I'm saying, in my own opinion, he has the right to go to court to recover his 4 years. So it's left for him whether he wants to try that out or not. But if it's me, I will try that out.
All right, ahead of 2027, we've seen all kinds of movements. And
Well, what's your advice for former President Goodluck Jonathan, who some northern leaders Uh, we are advising him to join the race for 2027.
President Jonathan has his own opinion to make, and he's entitled to it. My own advice is that he should not even near it. My own advice. He should not even contemplate it. The same forces that nearly destroyed his name, clueless, this and that, when they were not in power. The same forces are the ones now that are in power. They would take his name to the toilets. They will roll him on the ground. I have been in politics. And of course, he is very vulnerable because he has been a former president. And he went against certain conventions and certain norms. And you know what? Jonathan almost governed for 6 years. People like us that are saying that we want the tenure to change to become one tenure for the president for 6 years. Then how would I now begin to say that he should be given an opportunity to now maybe govern for going to how many years? Almost 10 years, assuming he has another 10. Because he governed for almost 6 years. So, if I were in his position, now that I've acquired the status of international statesman, like the wife said, what is he going back to do? Are you trying to say there are no other Nigerians that can rescue Nigeria? Anybody telling you to come back is trying to use your goodwill now to make a political party to survive. I heard Jerry Ghana saying PDP will bring him. PDP is gasping for life. So they want to use somebody's goodwill to know whether they can escape 2027 because they know that they are dead already. So, but if a Jonathan comes in, they will still be, as in making noise. They know he will not win. It's very settled. Why? Because he's from the south. So you cannot use a southerner, in my own opinion, to defeat a Tinubu now. It will be very difficult because if there is no northerner, for instance, that is contesting, Tinubu will just buy up the whole north, give them all phony appointments, and they will not have any dog in the fight, and all of them will vote for him because they will say, "Oh, he will have only 4 years to stay." But if there is a northerner, whether he wins or not, there will be a contest because they will have an interest in it. That was what Tinubu did to Jonathan in 2015. Went and brought in a northerner and used him to cause a disruptive change to remove Jonathan. So I will advise Jonathan, if I were him, I will not run because they would put him in the mud. They would destroy him so much that he will regret he ever even contemplated it. He's enjoying his life so much now. If Jonathan travels to any country, he's more respected than Tinubu. So what is he looking for in Tinubu's job? For me, Jonathan now has more international credibility than Tinubu. So what is he looking in Tinubu's job? He has been a former president with all the respect and all the accolades and all the paraphernalia of a former president. So if I were him, I wouldn't even think of it. There was a time I actually thought about Jonathan too. But after a while, after real close thinking, I'm like, no. It will be a minus for him. Especially after the wife, made some public comments. I think I agree with the wife on that.
What is the state of international relations with Nigeria currently?
Disaster. It's no longer any news that Nigeria is not having a very smooth relationship with America. America is the most powerful nation on earth, at least today. And I heard Tinubu saying he doesn't care what Donald Trump does. And I'm like, did I hear well? There is no head of state that has any modicum of international relations experience that will ever make such a public statement. None. If you come to your village and there is, assuming there is a bully and he's destroying everybody, you will use wisdom when you want to address that person. No matter what you think about America, America can still keep you very uncomfortable. America can still embarrass you like they have embarrassed Nigeria. You want to go for your visa, after paying all those money, they will say 3 months, non-multiple. People who have interviews now in American embassy, when they know they can't travel within 3 months, they will be shifting it. And you're saying you don't care what Donald Trump is doing. No, you care. The only thing is that you are not competent to handle somebody like Donald Trump. Wiser leaders would have been approaching the issue with wisdom. A lot of people will now say, no, he should not submit our sovereignty to America. And who is telling him to submit our sovereignty to America? I'll be the last to advise any president not to hold his stuff when you're dealing with any nation, including America. And when I was a student, and I'm still one, of international law and diplomacy, they say in international relations, you apply tact and skill in dealing with nations and with leaders. So there's nothing like America is trying to bully Nigeria. No. The president is just incompetent in handling international relations. And if you are a Nigerian and you're Nigerian and not in good books of the most powerful nation on earth, it's going to cost you something. Now, those people who are saying, no, maybe he's standing up to America. Okay. Assuming he has very good relations with poorer nations, with our neighbors, we will now say, okay, he's doing well there. Look at what is happening in Nigeria. Nigeria is not having good relation with Niger Republic, with Burkina Faso, with Mali. And it's because of the incompetent way he handled the change of government in Niger Republic. In international relations, they will say, use soft words but carry big stick. But this is a Tinubu that is using tough words with no stick at all. So, propaganda. He thought he can carry his propaganda to the international level. Immediately there was a change of government. He shouted, 7 days, I give you 7 days to return the power, or you'll be thrown out. Look at him. The person that has so much insecurity in his place that is not even positioned to go to war is threatening another sovereign nation. If you don't remove your, after 7 days, what happened? Even after a while, he sent a delegation, federal government delegation, and the judge probably turned it back. Because anytime you've made a boast and you don't follow it up with action, your respect. That's why when you see great countries, they talk less and do more. Before they make any boast or any statement, they know that they have 7 times the power to carry it out. But look at you. You don't have good economy. You have insecurity problems. And you're making a boast you will throw away a government within 7 days. Immediately after that, they know that this person is just propaganda, no action. Today, ECOWAS, under his watch as chairman, has split. These are poorer nations. These are Muslim nations. These are neighboring nations. And he can't handle them. So isn't it a disaster? Because of his incompetence in dealing with that issue, the 7 states of the north bordering Niger Republic, they faced sanctions, as in they could not trade with Niger Republic for more than months. He did not consult any of the governors before cutting off from Niger Republic. West Africa is still paying the price today. It is not because of military coup. Military coup has been happening. This same President Buhari that he wants to malign everything about. There were coups that happened when Buhari was there. Buhari will look very closely and know the ones that it is those civilian heads of state that are responsible, because they were either trying to change the constitution.
Thank you for watching that video. So guys, before you leave, look at the top here. Do well to subscribe and also put on notification bell so that whenever we upload any video in this great platform, you will be the first to see it. And please don't forget to share this video so that more people will still come